Hey there. No vlog for a while, um, due to life and stuff. And also, I've been finding it hard to make these. I've been finding it easier to make my gameplay ones. So I've been making them, but also there was a pause there, um, because it's it's hard. It's hard to talk about stuff, especially the difficult stuff, especially the hard stuff. Talking about things that are relatively positive is a bit easier, but talking about things that are literally still bothering you is just plain hard to do. I am still alive, however. I'm sorry for the lack of videos, and I will try to do more, but it's just, we'll see what happens. And today I actually wanted to talk about something that I wanted to talk about 2 weeks ago, but I just didn't make that video. And I have a lot of topics. We have a lot of topics that come up in everyday life, and I just sometimes just don't make that video. It's hard. It's harder than it seems. It's harder than I thought it would be to sit in front of the camera and talk. And sometimes, depending on the subject, it is just freaking hard. And I guess maybe I'm putting too much on top of myself, trying to always make sure that this is important, educational, and talks about and very helpful. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should just give you an update and talk about whatever the hell I want, and tell you how my day is going. And maybe that's enough. And maybe that's what I need. And maybe I have no idea what I'm doing. I do want to talk about this subject, though, and that's where we're going to talk about it. And as per the title of the video, it's okay to be sad. And that's not obvious at all. I don't know if it is for you or not, but it really isn't, because, and it's something that I'm still struggling with. There's this notion where you have to be extremely positive. And I really see this online. I really see this in any kind of cancer forum or any kind of cancer Facebook group or whatever the fuck it is. I really am seeing the positivity is key. Hope is very important. And those things are very important and good, but they're not the unequivocal truth. They're not the only thing there. You can't be constantly positive. I have cancer. I could die. It's sad. And I'm allowed to be sad. And even if I'm saying it right now, like, duh, you should know this. I don't know this. I am struggling with this. I have a hard time allowing myself to be sad, and it has caused me great emotional turmoil, because we need time to be sad. We really do. And so my psychotherapist tells me, and other psychotherapists have told other members of my family, and not all of them go to psychotherapists, which I highly encourage all of them to go to psychotherapists, because they have a member of their family who has stage 4 cancer, and they should. Honestly, I've always had a problem with psychotherapists, and I still do, and it took a very large amount of convincing on the part of my wife to make me go to a psychotherapist. And then the cancer thing happened, and then it's like, okay, yeah, I have good enough reasons, I'll go. God damn it. But I do believe that for the grand majority of people, psychotherapists help and are good, and you should do that. Whether you, like, really the grand majority of people can benefit from it, especially this shit. Okay, so yeah, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to not always put on the facade of everything's fine, everything's gonna be okay, we have hope, we're positive, rah, strong power, we're gonna do this, we're gonna beat cancer, and that's what you want most of the time. That is the aspiration most of the time, but it can't be there 100% of the time. You can't. It's draining. It's so draining. And sometimes you are just really sad. Sometimes at random. Sometimes you just have days where everything sucks. We have a lot of days where everything sucks. But it's okay to feel like crap. It's okay. And I need to tell that to myself. I've also had a lot of trouble, and I still do. I still struggle with showing me feeling bad, or in any kind of way, really showing that I'm feeling bad, because I don't want my wife to see it. You know, I don't want her to feel bad because she knows that I'm feeling bad. And that's tough. You know, people a lot of the time, especially when you come from outside, and I'm guilty of doing this myself, when you come up to somebody and somebody's, you know that they're not doing that well, for whatever reason it is, mental, physical, financial, whatever it is, whatever reason there is, they want to save face. They want to portray themselves as being more okay than they are. And people do this all the time for everywhere. And usually come, hey man, you can tell me, you know, I'm your friend. I care about you. I know it's tough and it's okay. And tell them you can show off as come on, do it. But that's, then again, I do it myself. You know, everybody does this. And I think it's important to also just acknowledge the fact of, yeah, things aren't perfect. Or things are far from perfect. Things suck. And I want to cry a bunch. And crying is okay. Crying is important. Crying is good. Crying is release. A lot of the time. I don't know if it's good, but it's there's one thing that I've been saying for a very long time, and I was always an advocate for crying. In that regard, I cried a lot as a kid, and I still do. I still cry a ton. To me, the way that crying is thought of for most people is a negative thing, and I don't think that that's necessarily true. Of course, everybody knows that you can also be crying for a very positive reason, for being emotionally touched in a positive reason. You can also cry, and that's not a negative cry, right? In a way, it's not a cry because you hurt yourself. It's not a cry because something bad has happened. It's a cry because something good has happened. And that should go to show you that crying is not wholly negative. And I don't think that it is necessarily negative at all. I think it is simply a reaction. Crying is a reaction. It is not an act of positivity or negativity within itself, in my opinion. Crying is a reaction to something, and what it means is that you care. If you're crying about something, you care about it. It bothers you. It matters to you. You're happy about it. All those things could be true. Not necessarily at the same time, but that would be interesting. But I care about this thing. Did I just spit something out? It feels like it. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. You care about that thing. I care about my wife and my life. That's right. I care about things. I care about myself, and that's legitimate too. I don't want to die. And if I feel like shit, I'm in pain, or I'm physically feeling bad, which is, I was just telling Ellie, I think it was 2 days ago, we were walking around, and there are so many different sensations. If one thing that this whole experience has taught me so far of having cancer is that, my God, the human body can have so many different sensations other than, when you think, oh, do you feel bad? Are you in pain? Is the main one that people talk about. Okay, or nausea. Nausea is something that people can understand. But there's so many different layers and types of nausea, and different layers and types of pain and sensations that can go through your body, through your digestive tract. Oh boy. And it's hard to explain. And the grand majority of them is very negative, but that's a different issue. The point is, it's okay to feel sad. I needed to hear that a lot, and to be told that. And it's also okay to try and not have other people see that you're feeling bad, but there should be a very strong limit on that and a very strong realization of who you're talking to. Especially in my case, hiding me feeling bad from Ellie is probably never a good idea. Even though I don't want her to feel sad for me. I want her to just be able to not feel sad and be happy. But yeah, it's a hard subject. Really, really hard subject. And I'm still struggling with it, and I'm still working on it. And that's okay. That's okay. As I close this out, then, I will give you just a small update. We actually have positive projection moving forward, which is good. So we're doing another CT. We're doing one more chemo in 2 weeks, and then we're doing a CT. If that CT is positive, then I'm going into maintenance treatment. This maintenance treatment could mean good things because it is without chemo. It is just taking the pills that I'm currently taking, and it is without chemo. That would mean that my quality of life would increase dramatically because chemo is the devil, but it's trying to help me. Chemo is positive. Chemo is positive. I keep trying to tell myself chemo is a good thing. It's also torture, but it's a good thing. Just it's really hard, but it's, yes. But it means that I won't have chemo, and that is really nice. So here's hoping that the next CT is positive. If the CT after that is positive, meaning the maintenance treatment is working, means we can continue the maintenance treatment, which is again just taking pills, which means no chemo, which means I might, maybe, not yet, maybe could go back to work. And that would be fantastic because that would mean a bit of stability and routine in my life, which is something any cancer patient will tell you crave for. You crave for stability because that's one of the things you don't have. So, of course, it's a bunch of maybes, but maybe. And that's something to be happy about. I'm having a tough time being happy about it right now, in this instant, but in general, I very much am. And let's hope. And hope with me, please. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. And it's been a longer one than usual. But yeah, thanks for watching and hearing me babble, as always. And I think this is, I think you've seen all hats by now. This is the last hat. So Ellie has made me 2 hats, and there's purple one, and there's this one, and then there's the other one that her coworker made for me, and then she made one for herself, and now she's making a massive blanket. Crocheting is fun. It is, like, I really like these. They're fun. I have a bunch of them to wear until my hair grows, and it is growing, by the way. It just looks terrible right now, so I won't show you, but it's growing, and eventually I'll have my fabulous hair back. I hope. Okay. Bye. Thanks for watching.